Known for kicking the American muscle car era into high gear, Pontiac wasn't just about big badges and screaming chickens. They built machines that could melt rubber, shatter egos, and land themselves in the Hall of Fame. From underrated turbo terrors to heavyweight V8s, Pontiac's history is a gallery of pure power. Here are the most muscular legends they ever unleashed. 2009 Pontiac G8 GXP, 415 horsepower. When Pontiac was fighting for its last breath, it didn't go out with a whimper. It dropped a bomb called the G8 GXP. Forget the Grand Am rental stigma. The G8 GXP was a full-on rear-wheel drive sedan packing GM's 6.2-liter LS 3V8 straight out of the Corvette. That's 415 horses, 415 pound-feet of torque, and a 6-speed manual if you had the guts to shift for yourself. This was not your dad's Pontiac. It was Australia's Holden Commodore rebadged, remixed, and injected with attitude, ready to devour everything in the left lane, including some BMW M5s at twice the price. 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds? Check. 4 doors and a trunk for groceries? Double check. Pontiac's swan song was a middle finger to every Camry clogging up suburbia. Only 1,829 were made before GM pulled the plug, turning it into instant legend territory. The G8 GXP's blend of power, practicality, and pure American aggression made it the muscle sedan Pontiac fans still drool over. In a world full of beige, this thing was a nuclear shade of badass. 2005 to 2006 Pontiac GTO. When Pontiac resurrected the GTO badge, purists rolled their eyes at its Australian roots, but numbers don't lie. The LS2-powered GTO was the fastest, most powerful goat ever to wear the name. Under the hood, a 6.0-liter V8 belted out 400 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque, making this coupe a burnout machine with business-class comfort. Don't let the mild-mannered look fool you. The GTO could do 0 to 60 in just over 4.5 seconds and rip through the quarter mile in 13 flat, leaving a trail of shattered expectations in its wake. Sure, it was based on the Holden Monaro, but Pontiac fans quickly learned to respect its bite. The rear-wheel drive chassis, available 6-speed manual, and old-school V8 Thunder meant the GTO was less a retro rehash and more a statement. Pontiac was still a performance powerhouse. Though it never matched the sales magic of the 60s, the 2005-6 GTO proved that the badge still meant get out of the way. For those who actually drove it, this modern muscle goat is one of the most underrated sleepers of the 2000s. 1963. Pontiac Catalina Super Duty Swiss Cheese. Back when drag strips were the real proving grounds, Pontiac decided to go nuclear with the Catalina Super Duty Swiss Cheese. Forget subtlety. This beast got its nickname from the literal holes drilled through its frame, shaving weight to the bone for maximum acceleration. Under the hood was a dual-quad 421 cubic inch V8, officially rated at 405 horsepower. The real number? Closer to 450, with enough torque to twist the Earth's crust. Pontiac didn't build these for the faint-hearted or the daily commute. They were factory race cars, bare bones, aluminum panel monsters sold to anyone who signed the dotted line. If you showed up at the drag strip in one, the competition quietly packed up and went home. But the Swiss Cheese Cat was short-lived. In 1963, GM's corporate killjoys banned official racing. That move turned the few Catalina Super Duty cars loose on the streets and instantly into collector holy grails. Today, just hearing Swiss cheese makes muscle car fans drool, and insurance agents break out in hives. 1970, Pontiac GTO Judge Ram Air 4. If there's a muscle car Mount Rushmore, the 1970 GTO Judge Ram Air 4 gets its face chiseled front and center. Pontiac's Ram Air 4 engine wasn't just a power plant. It was a street-legal threat to Mopars and Chevys everywhere. Rated at 370 horsepower, the 400 cubic inch Ram Air 4 V8 was the wildest engine in the judge's arsenal. But factory numbers were more about insurance games than honesty. Real output was north of 400 horses, and a set of slicks made this a 13-second quarter-mile assassin. With the shaker hood, wild graphics, and the judge badging, this was the car you bought if you wanted to start trouble at every stoplight. And if you were lucky enough to score one of the ultra-rare convertibles, just 17 made, you're looking at a 7-figure auction superstar today. The Ram Air 4 Judge is the car that made grown men giggle and rivals sweat bullets. 1970, Pontiac GTO, Judge 455 HO. As the muscle car era hit its stride, Pontiac wasn't content to rest on the Ram Air laurels. Enter the 455 HO, an engine so burly it made competitors weep. While officially rated at 360 horsepower, the 455 HO packed monstrous torque, launching this GTO Judge down the quarter mile in low 14 seconds, sometimes even faster in the right hands. The huge displacement gave you that seat-pinning, tire-shredding launch, while the Judge package kept all eyes glued to your ride. In a market already saturated with muscle, Pontiac's decision to keep pushing the envelope with bigger cubes showed its commitment to staying king of the street. The 455 HO wasn't just about numbers. It was about attitude. Today, these Judges are rare, valuable, and as menacing as ever. The golden age didn't last, but while it did, the 455 HO was the loudest voice in the muscle car choir. 1967, Pontiac Catalina 2+2. What happens when you cross a luxury land yacht with a street brawler? You get the 1967 Pontiac Catalina 2+2, the gentleman bruiser of the Pontiac lineup. The 2+2 in the name stands for bucket seats front and back, but under the hood was pure mayhem. A 428 cubic inch V8 thumping out 376 horsepower. While Cadillac and Lincoln were busy pampering their drivers, the Catalina 2+2 was putting them on notice at every green light. This car's full-size dimensions didn't mean soft handling. In fact, it was a sleeper, mid-14s in the quarter mile, plenty of room for your crew, and luxury touches that still make collectors swoon. The Catalina 2+2 is often overshadowed by GTOs and Firebirds, but real Pontiac fans know it's one of the coolest, most powerful rides ever to come out of Detroit's golden age. If you see one at a show, you salute. 1969 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am Ram Air 4. For the die-hard Firebird fan, the '69 Trans Am Ram Air 4 is the stuff of dreams. This car wasn't just about styling, though the stripes, scoops, and spoilers screamed performance. It was the 400 cubic inch Ram Air 4 under the hood that set it apart. Officially rated at 370 horsepower, this was a classic case of Pontiac underselling its own monster. Drag racers knew the truth. The Ram Air 4 could go toe-to-toe with anything out of Mopar or Ford stables, and then some. Originally built to race in the SCCA Trans Am series, Pontiac flouted the engine displacement rules and ended up creating a streetcar legend. With just over 600 made, the '69 Ram Air 4 Trans Am is rare, expensive, and one of the best representations of what happens when engineers ignore the bean counters. If you wanted to be king of the stoplights, you bought this car. If you didn't, you just watched it disappear down the road. 1989 Pontiac 20th Anniversary. Trans Am Turbo. Just when everyone thought the muscle car era was dead, Pontiac went full mad scientist for the 20th Anniversary Trans Am. This one broke all the rules by stealing the turbocharged 3.8-liter V6 from the legendary Buick GNX. On paper, it was rated at a laughable 250 horsepower. In reality, try 300 to 340-plus horses with quarter-mile times in the low 13s, matching classic Hemis and big block Chevys. It only came in white and they made less than 1,600, instantly turning it into collector gold. This was the car that could embarrass Ferraris and Vetus, straight off the showroom floor. If you got your hands on one, you knew it was the sleeper of the decade, a wolf in disco-era clothing. The 1989 Turbo Trans Am proved Pontiac still had the guts to make something special, even when everyone else was playing it safe. The muscle car wasn't dead. It just learned to boost. 1971. Pontiac GTO Judge 455HO. The last GTO Judge with its own nameplate, the 1971 edition, brought the 455HO to the party and threw the rulebook out the window. Officially, it made just 335 horsepower, but those numbers are about as believable as a politician's promises. This Judge could rip through the quarter in 13.4 seconds. Territory reserved for the era's true monsters, not supposed mid-power cars. Insurance companies were in panic mode, and Pontiac downplayed power figures so owners wouldn't get annihilated with sky-high premiums. Only 357 units were built before the Judge was sent to the great dealership in the sky, making it one of the rarest heavy hitters Pontiac ever built. Collectors chase this car not just for its numbers, but for what it represents. The last gasp of pure muscle before regulations and gas prices took the fun away. The 1971 Judge 455HO is the muscle car world's mic drop. 1967. Pontiac Firebird 400, 325 horsepower. When Pontiac was finally allowed to make its own version of the Camaro, it didn't just copy and paste, it upgraded. Enter the 1967 Firebird 400, with a 400 cubic inch V8 thumping out 325 horsepower, and styling that made it an instant classic. While Chevy's SS 396 was busy selling in bulk, the Firebird 400 was stealing hearts at every drag strip, laying down quarter miles that flirted with the 13s. The secret sauce? Pontiac's tweaks to chassis, intake, and attitude. Even better, Firebird actually meant something, unlike the Camaro, which sounds like a pasta. The Firebird 400 became the car you bought if you wanted to be different, but still win. Sales never matched the Camaro. But like all cult heroes, the Firebird 400 earned its fans the hard way. One burnout at a time. 1964. Pontiac GTO Tri-Power. The one that started it all. The 1964 GTO Tri-Power. Before anyone knew what a muscle car was, Pontiac bolted a trio of carburetors onto a 389 cubic inch V8 and let it breathe fire. Good for 348 horsepower and a reputation that still echoes in car culture today. John DeLorean's sneaky end-around GM's corporate ban on big engines led to the GTO's birth. It looked like a mild-mannered Tempest, but had the soul of a drag racer, able to eat up the quarter mile and spit out challengers. The GTO Tri-Power didn't just launch a car, it launched a revolution. Mopar and Ford scrambled to catch up, and the horsepower wars were on. If you're into muscle cars, you owe this one a salute. Without the 64 GTO, the rest of this list doesn't even exist. Pontiac didn't just build cars. They built legends that still make grown men stare and teenagers dream. Whether you're talking turbocharged outliers, million-dollar convertibles, or muscle-bound sedans that double as family haulers, these machines rewrote the rulebook on American power. Some brands chased the numbers. Pontiac chased immortality. And looking back, it's clear they caught it.